Hey, good morning. I just wanted to send out a quick tip for you as a customer of a client of Podcast Fast Track. I wanted to talk to you just real briefly about the power of doing batch recordings. And by batch recordings, what I mean is doing multiple recordings all in the same sitting. I know there's some of my clients that do this, and what I see from them is more consistent production and more reliable production, maybe is a good way to say it, so that there's no sense in which you feel like there's a gap that's gonna fall through on your show where you have to miss a week or two. So here's what I suggest. Just quickly come up with your next 5 to 10 episode titles. Quickly write down a brief outline. I mean, you know your content. You know what you think should be covered in those topics. And then separate those out into a time frame where you say, okay, this coming Friday, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to record 5 of these. And you just sit down and you do it. Most of you could probably wing it. You're intelligent people. You know your stuff. If you don't do well in winging it, just make a list of the areas you don't like how you said what you did. Include the timestamps. And when you send your stuff to my team, we'll edit those things out for you. That's part of the beauty of doing production the way that you're doing it. And if you're doing interview type shows where you have guests, take a tip from the page of Lee Dumas, who's a very prolific podcaster, and try to set up one day a month or one day a week where all you do is interviews and you schedule them back to back to back. Now, I guarantee you by the end of the day, you'll be very tired, but you'll be very glad that you have all of that done and out of your hair. So I would encourage you to consider that. If you're going to do batching, what I've found works best is to set aside a certain day every month that you do it and have it recurring on your task manager or your schedule or your tickler file, whatever it is that you use. That way, you just see it on your calendar. You know this day's blocked out. I don't do appointments. I don't do administrative. I don't do any other stuff. All I'm doing is recording. And you will be amazed the amount of relief that it brings and the amount of comfort that it actually brings to your soul to know that your show is still going out in those sequenced formats, even though you're not doing it week to week. And in my experience, it even creates more time for me in my weeks where I'm not doing the recording. So that's it. Just a quick tip for you. Hope it's helpful.